Hi guys, it's Dan here. Today we're going to be showing you how to use Google Images for theme entities. So what you want to do is actually search for whatever you're trying to write about in your article. So for these examples, I'm actually using slot games, so online slot games. And this one here is Amazon Wild Slots. So that's obviously a very specific slot that I want to make sure that in my content, I'm writing really relevant content about. The key with this really is to make sure that Google knows exactly what you're talking about. You don't want them to be playing guess who with your content. You want them to say, okay, I know exactly that that's this slot that they're talking about, and there's no way there could be any other slot because the information is that specific about Amazon Wild Slots. So as you can see in Google here, on the actual search results, I'm not really getting anything back that's very specific. I'm getting some information here about Amazon slots having, five reels and 4 rows. Different information about kind of, how much the minimum bet is. But all of that information there can be applied to a lot of slots. There's many slots that have that many reels and that many rows, and there's many slots that have that many minimum bets. So what you're trying to do is actually find information that's very, very unique to that particular game in this sense. Or obviously whatever product or service or, a piece of information that you're writing about, basically. And before this example, I'm going to go to images. And as you can see, when I actually do that, all the images pop up, but more importantly, here at the top, all of these different suggested keywords here actually pop up that are relevant to this game. Now, if I have a look through, what I actually aim to do is look to find keywords that are very unique to Amazon Wild Slots. So if I have a look through, we'll actually go through together and see what we think. So the word slot game there, I wouldn't say that's very unique to Amazon Wild Slots, as there's lots of slot games that exist on there. Slot machine, I'd say the exact same thing. I don't think slot machine is extremely relevant to Amazon Wild Slots. Playtech is actually better because Playtech is actually the software, so that is a bit more unique. By the way, as I go through all of these are obviously really important to get into your article because, you want to make sure that Google knows it, Amazon Wild Slots is a slot game, but they're not really unique to the game, and they're not that final bit of detail that Google needs to know exactly what slot you're talking about. Again, as I go through, the word casino here is not exclusively relevant to Amazon Wild Slots, neither is bonus game, neither is jackpots, neither is gambling, but the word jungle here at the end catches my eye because there's not many slot games with a jungle theme. Granted, there will be a few, but this is a really, really important keyword for me to get into my article because I know that if I put jungle in there, then Google's going to see that and say, okay, this is a jungle themed slot, and it narrows it right down. Again, using that guess who analogy, it's really important to consider that Google is actually trying to work out what you're talking about specifically, and the more specific you are, the easier their job is to find out what you're actually talking about. Again, if I go to another example here, Battle Galactica slots, on the actual Google search, you can see that there's kind of different things here. So maximum wins, minimum bet stake, how many lines and reels there are, all these kind of things that, are relevant to many, many slot games, and that alone will not actually win. Google's not going to see that and say, this is Battlestar Galactica slots. It will narrow it down slightly, but there's many other slot games with that information. So to go to images, you can actually find some new stuff. So again, working through these, online slots is not, very directly relevant to this. It's important, again, to add into your article, as I said, as all these things are, but it's not that little bit of detail that you need really to actually, tell Google exactly what you're talking about. Firing through Mega Moolah, no. Slot game, no. Casino games, no. Again, all important to mention, but not, really, really relevant to Battlestar Galactica. But as I get through, I see this word here that says Cylon. And honestly, when I saw that, I didn't really know what it was. I thought that was maybe, something that was irrelevant. But when I clicked on it, I noticed that that's actually one of the characters from Battlestar Galactica. So it's really, really important that I include that in my article. And actually what it's done is kind of made me think, well, maybe I can include a few more characters that are in there. Because as you can see on the actual slot game, there are several characters there that are actually included within the game. So I can mention that within my content. And it's only going to make my content more relevant and make Google more confident about what it is that I'm talking about. So that's just a nice little tip, guys, to actually use Google Images for your theme entities. Hope this is helpful. Hope you learned something today. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you guys later.